You know, in all the years that the Boston Bruins were scoring a ton of goals from the late 60s to into the 70s, there was one player that wasn't scoring but was an integral part of the squad. Now, a lot of people remember him in Vancouver because he's the first person to be drafted by the expansion Canucks in that important 1970 entry draft. He was a Stanley Cup winner in Boston in 1970 and eventually found his way back to Boston because people in Boston just loved him. So today we're talking about the native of Goderich, Ontario, Gary Doak. Now, born Gary Walter Doak, he was a Canadian-USA National Hockey League defenseman who played for the Red Wings, Boston Bruins, Vancouver, and the Rangers. He recorded 23 goals and 107 assists for a total of 130 points in 789 NHL regular season contests. With the Bruins, he won the Stanley Cup in 1970. Again, the first player selected by Canucks when he joined the NHL in 70 in the 1970 NHL Expansion Draft from that same title winner over the Blues just months before. Following retirement, he was a Boston Bruins assistant coach from 82 to 85. He also coached at the University of Massachusetts Boston for 2 years. Now, he did pass away on March 25, 2017, at the age of 71 in the beautiful community called home, Lynnfield, Massachusetts. Now, at 5'11", 188, wasn't known for his enormous size or his enormous, what he called offensive capability, but when he first came into major prominence as a Red Wings prospect, we knew he was going to do something. Now, he played a couple of 3 key seasons with Hamilton Red Wings of the OHA. His first campaign, he ended up being undrafted, of course, 13 points in 50 games, including 33 goals. 64, he had 33 points, including 31 helpers in 55 contests. Now, we saw his first pro action that year with the Pittsburgh Hornets of the AHL, where he played in 1 contest. 65 back with the Red Wings. That was sort of his enforcer year. He had 216 minutes and penalties, 34 points, 8 goals in 56 games. 65 with the Hornets, he scored his first professional goal in 2 contests, and of course it didn't continue on in his pro career because he rarely would score. 66, he played 4 games with the Red Wings in his first contest in the NHL, but also played with the Pittsburgh Hornets with 6 and 48 games. 66, he ended the campaign with Boston with 8 assists in 20 games and 28 minutes and penalties. Now, 67 was an interesting year. He only had 1 assist in 29 games, but in Oklahoma City, he had 4 goals in 17 contests, 7 assists, 96 minutes and penalties. So when asked to, he would drop the gloves. Now, 68, the Bobby Orr Bruins made the playoff run. Doak had a very consistent season with 12 points, including 2 counters and 59 contests. Now, 69, the injury-plagued season, 3 goals and 3 assists in 22 games. But 1970's breakout year, of course, 44 games, 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points, but he had a conditioning stint in Oklahoma City where he had 6 points in 13 contests. 8 games for Boston in the postseason. Of course, they won the Cup. Now, his first year in Vancouver, he almost played the full campaign, 77 games, 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points. 72, he split time between the Canucks and Rangers, 55 games, 1 goal, 11 assists for 12 points, 77 minutes and penalties, but he made it to the Stanley Cup final for a second time as part of the Rangers' playoff run, playing in 12 games. 73, found his way back to Detroit with 5 assists in 44 games, then in the same, like last time, for Toronto to Detroit to Boston the same season. He had 5 games for Boston at the end of the season and played 2 in the postseason. 74, he played 69 games, but injury riddled, he didn't play in the postseason even though Boston made it to the finals. Now, between 75 and 81, 40, 58, 76, 61, 63, 52, and 11 games, made it to Stanley Cup Finals for 77 and 78, and scored his first postseason goal in the 76 playoffs and scored his second one in 78 in 12 games. So again, in the postseason, 78 games, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points, 23 goals, 107 assists, 130 points, 908 minutes and penalties. Not a goon, ladies and gentlemen, but he would do his best to protect the players like Orr and Park and all the key players. Now, when he passed away, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of Boston Bruins fans mourned his passing because he was that well loved by the Bruins faithful. Now, in an article by Steve Conroy in the Boston Herald talking about his career when he passed away, the Bruins lost a cherished member of the family Saturday when Gary Doak died at the age of 71 after battling cancer. Now, according to Conroy, his work away from the ice that stayed with those who knew him well because of his dedication to the Bruins faithful. It's a sad day for the Bruins organization, said team president Cam Neely before Saturday night's game at the Barclays Center. He did so much with the organization after he retired. He hung around. He was always available for charity events for the alumni. Just a sad day. Bruins general manager Don Sweeney echoed those sentiments. I got to know Gary closely and personally because he started doing the Band Mass Challenge stuff, and at first I played some alumni games with him, said Sweeney, and I got to know him away from hockey a bit. You couldn't find a more charitable guy who loved the Bruins and loved everything about the fabric and family environment of the team. It's a sad day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the idea about Gary Doak, he was always there doing something positive. Now, I noticed for a fact he wasn't getting much power play time with the Bruins, but just like Rick Green was with Montreal later on, Doak was that type of player. And like I said, what you saw is what you got. He never really did anything to distinguish himself, but he never made a mistake. And with the Bruins team, the Big Bad Bruins, he was a player that a lot of skaters in the league respected. I talked to Rick Smith about the great Boston Bruins players through the years. He was in Woodstock for a Boston Bruins alumni game years ago. He said we had a lot of unheralded defensemen. He said I should know I was one of them. And Al Sims, Orr's partner, Dennis O'Brien, even Carol Vadney was kind of not say forgotten, but Vadney was an awful good player for Boston. But Gary Doak was that solid number 5 defenseman that every team should need. What you saw is what you got, hard scrabble. But like I said, I wonder why he was asked to take so many minutes and penalties. Because you wouldn't think of Gary Doak as a goon. If anything, you thought him as a very solid player that was going to do his best to protect his teammates. And, I think what happened, when Brad Park came to the Bruins, he extended his career because Doak was that cool water that the Bruins needed, especially on the road, because there was rough games involving, the Flyers or Montreal at the Forum and Spectrum, where Doak would, be that strong presence on the back end. So, but like I said, he's greatly missed by the Bruins faithful. So that's the story of the very excellent Gary Doak, Stanley Cup champion. If you like what we're doing here with our Boston Bruins tribute podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.